I'm going to do a series of videos on basics of Torah. Let's start off with the word Torah. It is the Hebrew word for instruction. It is normally translated law, but it actually means instruction. And it refers generally to the instructions found in the first 5 books of the Bible, the books of Moses. It refers to any instruction from God, whether it be in the Bible or from the Spirit of God. But generally it refers to the instructions in the books of Moses. There are 613 instructions in the books of Moses, and we are told by the Torah to not add or subtract to the Torah, meaning that you can't come up with another command beyond the 613 and add it to it, nor can you subtract one of the commands. And this was reiterated by Yeshua in Matthew 5:17 through 20. He made it very clear that we're not supposed to get rid of the least of these commands. In other words, whatever command you find in the Torah that you think is stupid, that you don't want to do, that's the one he's talking about. He's saying you can't get rid of it, no matter how badly you want to get rid of it. Then it becomes incumbent upon us to read the Torah and find out what God's instructions are. Now, the first thing that we have to understand about the Torah is that all of these 613 commands can be categorized into 10 categories. Now let's look at the 10 commandments. Okay, Moses received the 10 commandments at Mount Sinai. These commandments were spoken in Exodus 20 to the people. It's estimated that there were 2 million people that heard the voice of God speak these 10 commandments. Now, the word commandment in this phrase, 10 commandments, is actually the word dabar in the Hebrew. It is number 1697 in the Strong's Concordance, if you want to look it up. But the word is generally translated word. But that's not what it really means, because in English the word word means a particular word that is separated by spaces in the sentence, right? So we have this very specialized idea of what the term word means, and in the Hebrew the dabar doesn't fit that. Okay, dabar is very generalized. In some places it is translated thing because it is so generalized. Here it is referring to 10 commandments that were given, and so instead of translating it 10 words, which doesn't make sense in English because it's more than one word, right? We translated 10 commandments, but really we should be translating it 10 categories of commandments, because the word dabar means a category. It means something that is spoken. It means anything that is spoken. It is also translated desert. Okay, this is how generalized this word is. Now, desert. Why would you translate it desert? Well, it's obviously referring to the desert. It's talking about the children of Israel wandered in the Dabar for 40 years. So you could translate it, they wandered in the thing for 40 years, okay? But Dabar is very interesting because it means primarily something that is spoken. And you will notice that when Yeshua wanted to get serious with God, when Moses wanted to get serious with God, when John the Baptist wanted to get serious with God, when Elijah wanted to get serious with God, all of these people, they went to the desert. Why? Because in the desert, nothing is going on. The only thing that's going on is God talking to you. And that is the biggest problem that we have in our very technical society, is that we don't listen to God because we're listening to everything else. We're listening to the news. We're listening to the phone. We're listening to the computer. We're listening to music. We're listening to everything else except God. And so these people, they went to the desert. They had to get away from all of that input in order to concentrate on listening to God. So we have the 10 commandments, which are actually 10 things, and they actually refer to 10 categories of commandments. In other words, all of the commandments in the Torah can be categorized under 10 headings. Okay, so the first commandment is you shall not have any other God before me. Okay, so any command that is dealing with this kind of issue is going to fall under this particular category. Okay, murder is one of the commands. So any sort of command that has to do with killing someone or possibly killing someone or injuring someone, all of these kinds of things are going to fall under murder. Okay, adultery, any sort of fornication, any sort of sexual sin, lust, is going to fall under adultery. Okay, so all of these commands, these 10 categories of commands, actually help us to categorize all of the commands. And this is very important because when we go through the Torah, trying to teach some basics about it, this is a good place to start so that we can categorize the commands that we're looking for. So if we want to, start off with the first command, we're going to look at all the commands that would fit into that category. And that's going to help us to organize our study. Okay? So that is the basics of Torah. One other thing that I wanted to mention to you is that in the book of Genesis was actually written prior to the time of Moses. Moses didn't write it; he edited it. He put it together. But there was actual the actual people in there. When you read the phrase, "This is the generations of Adam," or something like that, the word generation means cycle, okay, and so it also means story. So this is the book of the stories of Adam. And in the time period of 4000 to 2000 BC, people generally wrote on cuneiform tablets, and the author of the book was put at the end of the tablet. And so when it says this is the book of the stories of Adam, it means that the stuff that came prior to this was written by Adam. And so this religion of the Bible didn't happen around 1500 BC, as many scholars say, or even later, 1200 BC, but rather it started all the way back, 4000 BC, at the beginning, at creation. This was when it started. This is when the Bible started. And this is when this religion of the Bible started. So, Hammurabi, you need to take a second step back a pace, because that's not the beginning of the religions, like a lot of the liberals try to say. So so that gives you a brief introduction, and we'll start going through the categories and talking about different major issues in there. But the information that I'm going to be going through is from Yeshua's Path, Volume 3. Okay, this covers Hebrews, and it covers most of the book is various issues in commands in the scripture that are either misunderstood or not understood very well, or there's some sort of issue in it. It goes through those and talks about the various issues involved in that. And so this is a very good starting place for your study of the Torah.